Somebody once said, if you took all the money in the world and divided it up equally among everybody, it would soon all be back in the same pockets. Now, isn't that something to think about? Why would that happen? Why wouldn't it stay divided? Why wouldn't everyone keep their share, grow it, multiply it? It's because money doesn't stay where there's no foundation to hold it. It flows like water. And if your cup is full of holes, it drains right through. You see, money always returns to structure, to discipline, to mindset, to habits. That's the secret most people never learn. You can't attract what you haven't prepared for. And you can't keep what you haven't been trained to manage. You've got to become the kind of person that money wants to stay with. The kind of person it chases, not flees. Because money doesn't respond to desperation, chaos, or emotional spending. But it comes running to clarity, consistency, and value creation. That's what we are going to talk about today. Not about chasing money, but transforming into the person money naturally finds. When you shift from consumer to creator, from spender to steward, from chance to design, that's when everything changes. Not eventually, but almost immediately. Let's begin. Let me tell you something that changed my entire relationship with money. If you can't manage small amounts, you'll never manage large ones. And I'm not talking about theory. I'm talking about practice. It's easy to believe that the solution to your financial struggles is more income, more business, more luck. But if your habits are poor when you have little, they'll only get worse when you have a lot. Money doesn't make you better. It makes you more of what you already are. It magnifies discipline, or the lack of it. I remember when I had just a few dollars to my name. Back then I thought, once I start making real money, then I'll start budgeting, then I'll save, then I'll invest. But that kind of thinking is backward. Discipline doesn't begin with abundance, it begins with scarcity. If you can take care of $10, you're training yourself to take care of 10,000. If you can save $1, you'll one day save thousands. The wealthy didn't start wealthy. They started with a mindset that honored every dollar, no matter how small. It's not about the amount, it's about the attitude. Some people throw away their change. They say, what's a few coins? But that's not the mindset that invites wealth. The person who picks up a penny and puts it in a jar with intention, that's the person who is developing the habits that wealth can trust. You have to prove you're a good steward with a little before life will entrust you with a lot. That's just how it works. When I started taking this seriously, everything began to shift. I began keeping track of my small expenditures. I stopped treating money casually. I treated it with respect. And in return, money began to respect me. It started staying longer. It started growing. Wealth doesn't show up where there is carelessness. It shows up where there is care. So, if you want more money to flow into your life, start by respecting what you already have. Fold your bills. Track your coin. Budget your 100 as if it were 1,000. Because soon enough, if you're faithful with the small, the big will come looking for you. That's the secret. Money follows discipline. When I was younger, I kept asking the wrong question. How can I make more money? But that question rarely leads to wealth. It leads to frustration. It leads to shortcuts. Eventually, I learned to ask a better question that changed the course of my entire life. Who can I serve? And how well can I serve them? That shift in focus from self to services where the real money is found. Money doesn't show up because you want it. It shows up because someone else needs you. It's a reward for solving a problem, a tip for creating value. Every dollar you earn is simply someone saying, thank you for helping me. If you want more dollars, serve more people. Solve bigger problems. That's the real secret. I remember back when I worked for a small company. I wasn't the smartest or the most experienced, but I became obsessed with one thing adding value. I found problems and fixed them before anyone asked. I learned new skills so I could help the team more effectively. And before long, I wasn't asking for raises. They were offering them. Why? Because I made myself valuable. I stopped chasing money. and started chasing usefulness. That's when money started chasing me. Service is the magnet of prosperity. People will always pay for solutions. If you can solve a $100 problem, you'll earn $100. Solve a $10,000 problem and watch your income rise accordingly. Your worth in the marketplace grows in direct proportion to the problems you're willing and able to solve. It's not about luck. It's not about timing. It's about contribution. Ask yourself daily, who can I serve today? What solution can I bring? How can I help someone else move forward? Those questions will lead you to opportunities others miss. And those who serve deeply grow steadily. The goal isn't to be rich, it's to be valuable. And when you're valuable, wealth has no choice but to find you. Because in the end, you don't get paid for time, you get paid for bringing value to time. I've often said ideas are like whispers, soft, subtle, easily missed. And the problem is, most people treat them like luxuries instead of treasures. They get a great idea in the shower, in the car, late at night, and they say, that's brilliant. Then they do nothing. And the idea, like a snowflake in the sun, melts before it can become anything meaningful. What a tragedy. You see, wealth doesn't come to the thinker alone. It comes to the mover, the one who bridges the gap between imagination and execution. Ideas are seeds, but action is the soil. Without planting them quickly, they rot in your pocket. That's the truth. I've met people with million-dollar ideas, but a million-dollar idea without movement is worth exactly zero. When I was just getting started, I kept a notebook everywhere I went because I realized that when a good idea came, it didn't wait. It didn't stick around for me to feel motivated or get the timing right. It would pass unless I captured it. So I wrote fast, acted faster. If I thought of a product, I made a phone call. If I saw a new need in the market, I wrote up a proposal that night. And here's what happened. I stopped watching opportunities and started participating in them. Every idea has a window, a short window, where energy, excitement, and possibility are at their peak. The longer you wait, the less powerful it becomes. Delay weakens clarity. Doubt creeps in. Life gets busy. And before you know it, that once brilliant spark is just a forgotten note on a dusty page. The wealthy understand this. They don't hesitate on good ideas. They move. They refine as they go. Perfection isn't the goal. Momentum is. Because done beats perfect every time. And when you build the habit of acting on good thoughts quickly, the universe starts to offer you more of them. You prove yourself trustworthy with inspiration, and inspiration becomes income. So when a good idea visits you, don't wait. Grab it, write it, shape it, act on it. Fortune favors the bold. Yes, but more precisely, fortune favors the fast. I learned a long time ago that the fastest way to lose money is to make decisions when your heart is racing. Whether it's fear that something bad is going to happen or excitement that something great is about to happen, both can cloud your judgment. And in the world of wealth, cloudy judgment is expensive. You see, money has no emotions. It doesn't care about your mood, your impulse, or your temporary feelings. But people get caught up in the moment. They buy when they're excited. They sell when they're scared. They chase hot trends, jump into fads, or make big purchases just to soothe the feeling. And what happens? Regret. Financial regret. And regret is a heavy thing to carry when the bills show up or the investment tanks. Discipline is the answer, not deprivation discipline. There's a difference. When you build the habit of pausing, of giving yourself time to think, you put a protective fence around your finances. I've made it a personal rule. Never make a major financial decision in the same emotional state you discovered it in. Sleep on it. Let the emotion wear off. Because if the opportunity is real and wise, it'll still be real and wise tomorrow morning. Now, I understand how strong emotion can be. I've been there. I've stood in front of a deal that looked like gold and felt that itch to move fast before I missed out. But I've also learned that if something requires urgency without clarity, it's usually a trap. The wealthy aren't just wealthy because they make money, they're wealthy because they know how to keep it. And one of the best ways to keep it is by refusing to let your emotions spend it. Think about the last 3 financial decisions you made. Were they rooted in reason, or were they responses to a feeling? If you can build the skill of waiting, of pausing, of breathing before buying or investing, you'll plug the leaks that drain most people's financial futures. Logic should lead, not excitement. Strategy should win, not fear. Money is loyal to the disciplined. Emotion may feel good in the moment, but discipline builds a lifetime of security. I've often said that formal education will make you a living, but self-education can make you a fortune. You see, wealthy people don't treat learning like a face, it's a lifestyle. They understand that the money is in the knowledge, and not just any knowledge, specific, purposeful, applied knowledge. Financial education, business principles, personal growth, communication, marketing, these are the tools of the wealthy. I remember early on in my career, I was broke, really broke. But someone handed me a book that changed everything. Not because it gave me money, but because it gave me a new way of thinking. That's when I realized that wealth first grows in the mind before it ever shows up in the bank. It's a law of life. What you don't know can cost you, but what you do know can reward you for decades. So, what do wealthy people do? They go to seminars when others go to parties. They read biographies while others scroll. They listen to audio programs when they drive instead of aimless noise. Why? Because they've trained their appetite for growth. They don't learn to impress, they learn to improve. Every new insight adds another tool to their wealth-building toolbox. Here's the secret. Knowledge compounds faster than money ever can. You might save 10% of your income, but if you grow your mind 10% each year, the income will multiply far beyond that. Because when you become a person of increasing value, the marketplace pays attention. You'll start to see solutions others miss. You'll spot opportunities before they become trends. You'll have confidence in conversations where others feel lost. You'll move differently, not because you know everything, but because you've trained yourself to keep learning. It doesn't take 10 hours a day. Start with 10 pages, 15 minutes of audio, one thoughtful conversation with a mentor. Stack those consistently, and you won't recognize the version of yourself a year from now. Your thinking changes, your habits change, and eventually your income follows. If money seems to be running from you, maybe it's because your mind isn't ready for what you're asking for. Prepare the mind, and the money will find you. The world doesn't pay for ignorance, it pays for wisdom applied. Keep learning, keep growing, because every dollar you earn tomorrow is hidden inside what you learn today. That's one of the great paradoxes of success. Act quickly, but grow slowly. Wealth doesn't come to the frantic or the passive. It comes to those who move with urgency today and patience tomorrow. When you hear a good idea, when you get a flash of inspiration, when a door opens, even just a little move, that's how the wealthy behave. They don't wait until everything's perfect. They get started and refine as they go. But here's the other side of it. While they move quickly to start, they're not in a hurry to finish. They understand that real wealth is built through the slow, steady force of compounding, not sudden windfalls. I once knew a man who had an idea for a small service-based business. Nothing fancy, just a skill he'd refined and was ready to offer. But he kept waiting. Next month, he'd say, when I have more time. Years passed. The idea faded. Someone else launched the exact concept and it thrived. Why? Because the other person understood the principle. Action today opens doors tomorrow. And then there are those who start something today and expect overnight results. They plant a seed on Monday and dig it up by Friday to see if it's grown. That's not how nature works. That's not how money works either. The wealthy plant, water, protect, and give it time. They trust the process. They don't check the score every 5 minutes. They're in it for the long haul. Real wealth is the reward of compounded consistentysmal, wise actions repeated long enough to bear fruit. You don't have to build your fortune overnight, but you do have to get moving. Buy the book, open the account, make the call, start the project. The earlier you begin, the longer compounding has to do its quiet, magical work. And if you'll pair speed of action with the patience of vision, you'll be amazed at how the world eventually tilts in your favor. Don't let another day slip away in waiting. Be quick to start, slow to quieten. Wealth will come looking for you. Most people get excited about making money, and that's good. There's joy in increasing your income and landing a new client, closing a sale, starting a new venture. That's offense. But the truth is, you can't win the wealth game with offense alone. If you don't have defense, you'll lose just as fast as you earn. A leaky bucket can't hold water no matter how fast you fill it. So here's a question worth asking. Are you more focused on how much you make or how much you keep? Years ago, I worked with a gentleman who had a knack for creating income. He was magnetic, persuasive, sharpy, made hundreds of thousands a year. But when I asked about his savings, his investments, his plans, shrugged. I don't worry about that. I'll just make more. Within a few years, it all fell apart. A downturn came, and because he hadn't built walls around what he earned, it slipped right through his fingers. You see, wealth is built just as much by what you guard as by what you gain. It's not flashy to track your expenses, but it's foundational. It's not exciting to review your budget, but it's essential. Look at every dollar like a soldier. Ask yourself, is this working for me or walking away from me? Keep your lifestyle below your means. Avoid lifestyle inflation. Build savings buffers. Ensure what matters. Know where every dollar goes, or it will leave quietly and never return. Defense is protection. It's wisdom, maturity, restraint. It's the mindset of saying, I've worked too hard for this money to let it slip through mindless spending. People often look at the rich and think they just earn more. But often, they simply lose less. They plug the leaks, they keep their overhead low, they build systems that protect what they've earned. So the next time you get a raise, a bonus, a profit, celebrate for a moment, then go to work on protecting it. Ask yourself not just how to earn more, but how to keep more. Because when you master defense, you multiply the power of every dollar you've already earned. Don't just be great at making money, be great at keeping it. I used to sit in living rooms and listen to people talk about money like it was a ghost something, mysterious, elusive, even evil. And it always amazed me how their beliefs, often formed in childhood, quietly governed their entire financial lives. I remember one man who told me, wealthy people are greedy. I asked, where'd you learn that? He said, my dad used to say it every time someone drove by in a nice car. You see, that one sentence, repeated over the years, became a belief, and that belief became a barrier. The truth is, if deep down you believe that money is bad, or that you're not worthy of it, or that there's not enough to go around, you'll sabotage yourself without even realizing it. You'll overspend, undercharge, procrastinate, avoid learning about finances, reject opportunities. Why? Because the mind doesn't let you have what it believes you shouldn't. That's why it's not enough to learn money strategies. You must first upgrade your money story. Start paying attention to the script running in your mind. What did your parents teach you about wealth? What do you say to yourself when you see someone successful? What do you feel when you earn more than you expected? Guilt, fear, pride. These emotions reveal the internal programming, and that programming must be updated if you want lasting wealth. The wealthy rewire their minds. They say things like, money is a tool for doing good, or there's more than enough, or I create value, and I deserve the rewards of that value. You don't need to shout it in the mirror every morning, but you do need to say it often enough to believe it. Because when you change your internal dialogue, your external reality follows. Here's what I've learned. Money flows to those who feel safe receiving it. If you want more, you must first believe you can handle more. And if you want to handle more, you must rewrite the script that says you can't. It's not just about dollars, it's about your dialogue. Change that and everything else changes too. I used to think time was working against me, always running out, always slipping away. But I finally realized time was never the enemy. It was the multiplier, the magnifier. It either multiplies discipline or magnifies delay. The poor often see time as pressure, while the wealthy See time as partnership. You have to shift from racing time to planting with it. When I was younger, I met a man who began investing just $50 a month in his 20s. Modest income, modest habits, but he did it consistently for 30 years. By the time he was in his 50s, that small seed had grown into a powerful tree paying him dividends, giving him options and bringing him peace. He didn't win the lottery. He didn't make a fortune overnight. He used time as his partner. Most people are too impatient for that. They want fast money and forget that real wealth takes time, but time, when used wisely, does the heavy lifting. If you delay planting because the seed looks too small, you'll never have shade when the sun gets hot. That's the tragedy of procrastination. I'll do it when I have more. But when you get more, you'll still carry the same habits. Start with what you have. Whether it's saving, learning, investing, building a skill, do it now. The best time to plant a tree? Years ago. The second best time? Today. Time doesn't care whether you're rich or poor. It treats us all the same. The question is, are you working with it or wasting it? Use your hours well. Don't just fill your days, design them. Don't just age compound. The man or woman who starts today with whatever small thing they can manage will be unrecognizable in 5 years. And here's the secret I learned. If you do the right things consistently over time, you'll wake up one day and realize money isn't something you chase anymore. It's something that shows up because of who you've become.